Hi guys, and welcome to Riley Talks, where my name is Riley and I like to talk. And today I'm going to talk about a topic that I love so much and I'm so excited to kind of dive into because I didn't really know much about the origins of this before I started researching for this video. And before I begin, I just want to quickly say I'm sorry to my followers for not posting for a bit there. I'm not going to give excuses, but I will say, like, I had spring break and then I had finals before that and getting adjusted to the quarter after spring break and all of that kind of stuff. So it's been kind of busy, but I am finally back. Also, for anyone who's wondering about my hairstyle, yes, I am feeling a little bit insecure about it. If it does look boof, like, actually don't tell me. I don't need to know that. But if it does look good or you want to lie to me and tell me it looks good, please comment down below because lie or not, I will take it as a win. Those of you who follow me know I really like to focus videos on sitcoms and pop culture. And today's topic is a perfect combination of the two. I want to talk about the term girl failure. Today we are going to cover the rise of the girl failure, its counterculture roots, and how we see this archetype in film and TV. And disclaimer before this video begins, if you have any questions about my ability to discuss this archetype, I will insert my character analysis and you let me know. You let me know if I fit the qualifications. Wiktionary defines a girl failure as a fictional girl character who is endearingly pathetic or inept. The concept of the girl failure has been in the media sphere for the past couple of years, first gaining popularity on Twitter through this 2023 post that read, "Enough girl bosses, I need girl failures. Just an absolute loser of a female character. More women who suck." The tweet quickly spread as people online began discussing their favorite girl failure representation and how they see the term in their own lives. Girl failures represented an archetype that was counterculture to the girl boss framework of the mid to late 2010s. The girl boss, which skyrocketed at the millennial cultural peak, was fueled by third wave feminism and the belief that women should have a seat at that table. The girl boss was an inspiration to all women everywhere who wanted to break the glass ceiling. The girl boss was the woman who had it all. The girl boss could be a CEO while also still managing all of the domestic labor in her nuclear family household. In an article titled "The Rise and the Fall of the Girl Boss," published in the Journal of Business Venturing, Janice Byrne explains, women entrepreneurs are celebrated, but only certain types. Those who harbor high growth ambitions and perform a successful balanced femininity, ostensibly leading fulfilled lives at home and work. While well-meaning, this archetype plays directly into capitalism. What once was a movement to empower women in the workforce became a tool to regurgitate hustle culture and toxic productivity to a female audience. The burnout and stress of the girl boss lifestyle came to a head in the pandemic. In an article titled "All Hail the Girl Failure" from ID, the author details that the past few years of pandemic and then surreal return to normality have been dominated by self-improvement, the pressure, as Gia Tolentino wrote, for women to be always optimizing ourselves, the tyranny of chasing ideal womanhood, the inevitable crushing self-loathing when we realize the chase is an impossible task. We've been bombarded with messages telling us to go on hot girl walks, to be a clean girl, to embrace the 5 to 9 before the 9 to 5. But eventually, we're realizing that this message is tied up in privilege and aligned with capitalism and is simply unsustainable. In an article for The Stylist, Leah Sinclair highlights that the girl failure is all about replacing the girl boss by celebrating female characters who own their flaws and are welcoming a new era of perfectly imperfect and flawed women. Beyond the girl boss, the girl failure also offers a departure from typical female archetypes seen in TV and movie. Women want to see more than the nagging wife or girlfriend character, or the adorkable ingenue. Luckily, the world of girl failures is ever expanding, and a genre that I'm pretty well familiar with. I, like so many other women, enjoy seeing vulnerable, slightly horrible female characters on my screen that I can truly relate with. Hannah Horvath from Girls is one of the initial characters that came to my mind when thinking about this term. She's flailing through life post-grad and experiencing the awkward transition we see into adulthood. She is selfish and makes rash decisions. She has a bad attitude and wild dreams. Hannah is a vulnerable reflection of many of the deeply flawed character traits we experience. And that's why her character has cemented itself as a figure of the girl failure of the early 20s. Another prominent girl failure is Fleabag. Like Hannah, she is self-interested and crass, but she is also suffering through grief and guilt and familial divide. Her story is arguably darker, but as equally human. Some other honorable mention girl failures include PJ and Josie from Bottoms, who are classic high school losers and perfect representation for the ugly, untalented, gay girl failure. Maya and Anna from Pen 15 show another layer of developmental girl failure, moving even further back from the awkward stage of entering your early 20s to the most embarrassing and horrific stage of anyone's life, middle school. And coincidentally, while I was researching this topic, I also came across the term nowhere girls, which is a Chinese term to describe women who have no money, employment, education, prospects, looks, friends, or sophistication. I stumbled across this term and found it really interesting because it is very similar in definition to girl failure, yet it has a completely different cultural context. The term was popularized by the Chinese TV reality show entitled Nowhere Girls, that followed 7 different women who represented each of the 7 deadly sins. However, this term was not created as a celebration of the female flaw, and has not been reappropriated or embraced. Unlike the phrase girl failure, which is an act of resistance against the expectations of women, the nowhere girl is a shameful, derogatory term utilized to shame women who have not succeeded by the capitalist and patriarchal expectations. I mention this because the phrase can be a little disconcerting at first. The term girl failure could seem harsh or posed against women, and it's important to understand that the joy and the acceptance around the term comes from the fact that it is an act of dissent from social expectations. We've talked about a few characters who fit in this trope, and as you've probably noticed, there is a lot of overlap between the identity of the girl failure and the anti-hero. Many of these women are depraved, morally questionable, and self-obsessed, and the anti-hero isn't a role many women find themselves in. Men often get away with being the main protagonist, yet also be horrible and corrupt characters. They can be socially flawed and inept, while still receiving unquestionable love and reverence from audiences. This can be an extremely difficult pattern to break, because women simply aren't allowed to get away with as much as men do. But one fabulous player in breaking the horrible character glass ceiling is Caitlin Olsen, who plays Sweet Dee on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. As many of you know, if you have seen even a singular clip of the show which has Dee in it, you know she is a genuinely horrible person. She has so few redeeming qualities, yet me and most of the fan base still love her as much as they love the rest of the gang. But Dee wasn't written to be as scheming and conspiring as the rest of them. Initially, in the pilot, Dee, who was played by a different actress who was Rob McElhenney's real-life girlfriend at the time, had played the character as the straight man of the group, or the voice of reason. Dee was created as a foil to the boys. However, when the show got picked up and the actress who played Dee and Rob McElhenney ended their relationship, the position became open, and Caitlin Olsen wonderfully filled the role of Dee. Was allegedly pushed out of the project, even though she may have had a hand in the creation of the show. I'm not here to speculate on that or claim that the actress who played Dee originally did it poorly. What I do want to say, however, is when Caitlin Olsen took the character, she completely revamped Dee for better. Well, not literally for better. Dee became a much worse person, but Olsen said she refused to play the character unless Dee's character could also be as well-rounded and horrible as the rest of them. She was able to help the creators of the show understand and write a better version of Dee's character. She's still to this day one of my all-time favorite loser characters, female or male, because Dee has a level of insanity to her that is so rare and wicked. Dee is hypocritical and selfish. She's a narcissist, and she is deeply, deeply insecure. But it's Dee's right to be just as obnoxious and horrible as the rest of the gang. It is a rare sight to see. But women should be allowed to suck, and they should be allowed to be horrible. This video was not an exhaustive list, and there are so many amazing girl failures out there. But the point is, ignoring those parts of ourselves creates shameful repression. We have all felt like losers, and it's time that the characters we watch represent that. Not all women can be perfectly boxed into an archetype or category, and the girl failure allows for an exploration into the darker, more vulnerable side of who we all are. I also wanted to point out here that the gap between men and women being horrible, truly obnoxious characters is wide, but the gap between horrible, truly obnoxious male characters and women of color is even larger. White women still have far more representation, and that's something as an audience and as creatives we need to pay attention to. I sincerely hope this video inspired you to learn a little bit more about your pathetic loser side. And that's all that I have for today's video. I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed it, please consider giving me a thumbs up and subscribing. I'll catch you on the next one.